As We Heal is a space for open conversation, personal stories, and diverse perspectives. The experiences shared in this episode are unique to each individual and may not reflect the experiences of others. Nothing discussed should be taken as professional advice. Please consult an appropriate professional for support relating to your own health, well-being, or circumstances.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of As We Heal. Today's guest is someone who has walked away from the constant noise of modern life to search for something deeper. From content creation, living in the digital world and spending time in an ashram in India, practicing yogic disciplines and exploring spirituality, Jahan Thakur has experienced a journey that many people dream of, but few people would take. And so, Jahan, I'm so excited to have you here just to learn a little bit more about you, understand your lifestyle, what actually pushed you down the route of self-exploration to traveling to India, to learning new languages. I am so excited to learn from you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no worries. And tell me a little bit about where everything started and who was Jahan before languages and, traveling to India.
Yeah, so I guess some context is that I am half Indian, so it made me a bit more receptive to this Indian culture, which I understand for some people, if they hear about yoga, meditation, it might take a few more steps to get to it.
Yeah.
So that is one aspect I'll just park aside.
Yeah.
But that being said, for me, where it really started, have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this, but Star Wars is a copy of Japanese cinema, like scene for scene copy. So George Lucas, who loved Star Wars, who made Star Wars, was in love with Japanese cinema. And in these Japanese movies, there are samurai, there are these monks, there's this Buddhist culture.
Okay.
And he sort of brought this over to the West, but in a sci-fi cover.
Oh, wow.
But actually, if you look at it, the Jedi are all wearing kimono, they all meditate, they all talk about the Force.
Oh,
all the main characters are monks.
Yeah.
The Jedi.
Yeah.
So as a child, I didn't really understand, because there's a character called Luke Skywalker, who's the main hero.
Yeah.
And all stories follow something called a hero's journey. Where you have a small farm boy who's very weak, his life is destroyed, turned upside down, he finds a teacher, he then fights the villain, he loses, he learns a lesson, defeats the villain, and then he goes back to his village, but now he's slayed the dragon, so he's now rich and has a princess. That's the hero's journey that all these stories follow.
Yeah.
And Star Wars also follows this journey. But what I found very strange as a child was that Luke Skywalker, he was alone, he didn't have a love interest, he wasn't super wealthy, and he was just by himself, but for some reason I found him to be so powerful and so impressive.
Yeah. And
of course he's got a teacher of Yoda, he's meditating, and he's trying to feel the Force. And I think it's planted a seed in my head that no matter how successful I become, whatever I achieve, whatever pleasures I have, there should be a part of me that always looks inward. And I think that seed was planted from Star Wars, which is quite...
I love that. And how did you, because obviously me being Indian too, I've seen Star Wars, but I actually never ever took that from it. So how did you then think to connect that back to the Indian side of things?
I think what I realised is that because you need to have a meditative practice, you need to look inwards. Naturally, if you start looking at meditation, you're naturally drawn to India.
Yeah.
This is where these practices derive from.
Yeah.
So because I think the Himalayas protected India from invasion for so long, India had the privilege of being able to explore things without being colonized. And whereas any other country in the world, if you had a different idea, you'd be killed.
Yes.
Anywhere in history. There is nowhere else on the planet where for long periods of time, you could worship a stone or rock or cow and someone wouldn't kill you.
It's true.
Or call you crazy.
It's true.
In India, you could cover yourself in ash and drink from a skull.
It's true.
And no one looks at you like you're weird.
Yeah.
It's the only place in the history of the planet where, for a long period of time, other places definitely had it. There's spirituality everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think what India has the privilege of is that the geopolitics of India protected it. Later on, of course, the British colonized. The Mughals came before them. But for a huge period, they were untouched.
Yep. And they had time to explore.
They had time to explore. They had the privilege of time. So that's why I think if you are interested in inner practices, any culture in the world can offer it to you. But eventually, if you're really serious, you're very likely to be drawn to India.
Yes.
And because I'm also half Indian, I was a bit more receptive to it.
Yeah, more receptive.
But even though many non-Indians are still interested in meditation, it's not like it's an Indian thing.
Exactly.
But for me, as a young person, it was just that much easier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think what pushed me to it, I don't know if you ever watched any Indian TV shows growing up, but there was one that would always come on in the background and it would be in between my mum's shows that she would watch. And it was just all about miracles. And it helped me believe in the world of miracles. And I think it was a show specifically on Sai Baba. Okay. But it was really interesting because they explored meditation a little bit. And at that age, I wasn't intrigued around meditation so much, but more on the idea of possibilities happening when there's so many things that we are told that is impossible growing up, or, at least I was. And so I found that to be really interesting. And it's so interesting that you also say that India had the time to explore, because you're right. Like, if we sit and think about even going back to the talk of like witches and brewing things and making medicines and herbs, like we did use so many herbs as like medication and make different concoctions of things up, and we had so much time to explore that. Whereas like Ayurveda, like for example, if we were to do that, let's say even 300 years ago in Western culture, you'd probably be witch hunted, like burned at the stake. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So what was your catalyst then that pushed you to go from living in the UK to saying, actually, I want to go to India?
Yeah, so it's like I was saying, I realized that meditation is important. I was reading about Buddhism, Hinduism, different religions, Christianity, Islam, and so on. And I felt that there's this deep longing, from Star Wars as well, because Luke finds Yoda, if you remember, he's a teacher, that there has to be something, it's called Guru Shishya in Sanskrit, which means master-disciple relationship. And I felt that you need to have a living teacher who has a perception beyond yours. It's like, I'll give you a good example. If some electricity in the house is broken, I'm not going to try and figure out myself, I'll hire an electrician.
Yeah.
Because he can see something about this that I can't see. His or her perception is higher than mine.
Yeah.
So I want his or her wisdom and knowledge in this situation, and I don't have to solve it. I think it's the same with spiritual path. If you can have someone who understands a wider range of how this human system functions beyond the five senses, how to make this human energy system, physical system, and emotional system at its peak capacity.
Yeah.
I think this is where the master comes in.
Yeah.
Which I think is very hard for a Western mind because it seems very submissive to find a teacher. But I think one, being half Indian made it a bit easier, and two, the Star Wars, there's always the master-student relationship. And in anime as well, they always have this master-student relationship. So I think that planted the seed. So I was trying to read about Buddhism, Hinduism, and so on, Christianity, Islam. Eventually I came across I read a book called Conversations of God. I don't know if you know this book.
No, I've heard of it. I've heard the title though.
So it's a very famous, like the New Age spiritual, your thoughts create your reality, this type of spiritual book.
Who's it by?
Neil Donald Walsh.
Neil Donald Walsh. Okay, I've heard. Yeah.
So I was 15, and actually I went to see this guy. I don't know if you know, my mum or my sister might have told you about it. Alexander, who lines your pelvis.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I went to his place. So this is off topic, but he lines your pelvis, and he believes if your pelvis is aligned, your body will naturally heal. And he's like, this alternative. So I went to his place, and he saw I was looking at this book, and he said, "Oh, you should take this book." It's Conversation with God. So I was 15. I read this book, and it just blew my mind.
Wow.
I absolutely loved it. I mean, stuff that you think would be normal now, but back then, before YouTube was big,
no one was talking
Instagram,
about it.
No one was talking about it. And then in one section of the book, so he's talking to God. He's channeling some higher creature or being. I don't know what it is, but in the book, it's him and his God. That's the conversation. And then he asks God, "Am I?" As in the author's asking, "Am I a master? Am I a living master?" He's like, "No, you're not a master. You're a great messenger. You're a great filter for higher truth, but you're not a master. But humanity will always have masters present." And that's around the same time, my mum's friend, who was a volunteer for the Isha Foundation, which is Sadhguru's organization, put a leaflet through my door, and there was a picture of Sadhguru saying, "Here's a live talk." And on that picture, on that postcard, was a quote from Neil Donald Walsh, the author of the book I was reading.
Wow.
And he said, "This guy, as in Sadhguru, is the real deal."
Yeah.
So I went to a live talk with Sadhguru, and I just fell in love. I was like, this is so cool. Did the yoga program. I went from the bottom of my school grades to the top of my school grades. And I was a U student, like D student.
Yeah.
The only question I could do was, "What's your name?" You know, the exact, "What's your name?" And what's your student ID? And then I went from all A's after that, and then university happened, all this stuff happened. But I realized that there was something more here.
Yeah.
That with the right amount of inner work, your external world is much more pleasant to be in. If you can, it's like a computer, an iPhone. Your iPhone can do so much more than you realize. Your computer can do so much more than you realize. You probably use 2%. If someone gives you the handbook, says, "Look, this is what you can do." I think yoga and meditation are the same. Like, this is the handbook, the instruction manual for this system. You can make the system much more vibrant, much more effective, much more efficient.
Yes.
If you do the right yogic practices and breathing techniques and there's a whole different types of yoga that's been evolved over thousands of years to maximize the human potential.
Yeah.
So I realized I have to go to the ashram because whilst I'm young enough, whilst I have the ability, I don't have a wife, I don't have kids. This is the time to go. So that's why.
And what was that experience like? And how old were you also?
So I discovered Sadhguru when I was 16.
Yeah.
Then did yoga on and off till then. Quick context, my nose was broken 4 times. So I couldn't do the breathing techniques. Okay. See, now I've got like a cute nose. To fix my nose.
Yeah.
So embarrassing. But I had to fix my nose because I couldn't do the breathing techniques.
Okay.
So it was always difficult for me.
Yeah.
But I went when I was 24 to the ashram.
24,
Yeah,
okay.
to the ashram.
And what was that like? Like, going into the ashram, talk me through that whole experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was my first time flying to India, so that was a bit mad for me.
And you went on your own?
I went on my own to India, to South India. So it's not, at least my family is from Punjab, North India. So South India is a whole different ball game. They don't speak Hindi, it's just Tamil and English and whatever local language, like Malayalam, different languages that they have, Telugu and so on. But English is very well spoken there, so that was quite easy. There's no language, everyone speaks English, so that's great. But it's it's a different world to what I was used to. So that was the first culture shock, but I adapted very quickly. I instantly switched to Indian clothes, like dhoti, kurta, pajama, just blended in as much as I could. But the ashram itself, I hated it when I first came. I thought, what am I doing here? I can't sit cross-legged. I'm struggling on the floor, sitting on concrete for hours, cross-legged. There's only vegetarian food. I was eating meat every day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what this food is. But within very slowly, I think my system adapted, and when I was leaving, I was just in tears, crying. I don't want to leave. Because what is an ashram? What makes it unique? Why is the ashram different to you meditating at home? Why is it different to you going to university? You're going to a mandir even. What is an ashram? An ashram is like a campus. Like imagine a university campus, but this particular one's on the foothills of a mountain. But it's a campus that is everything about it is designed to make it as conducive as possible for you to look inwards. So the way the food you're given is called sattvic food, which is no onion, no garlic, no chili. It's like a yogic diet. Yeah. You have Ayurveda and Siddha doctors there. So Ayurveda is like where they give you a particular concoction for each treatment that you need. Yeah. Whereas Siddha is when they check your pulse and they know you from your 5 elements. Oh wow. So there's 2 different types of Indian medicine. So they have doctors there. Yeah. There's something called it's a consecrated space. So certain lingas are these mercury style rocks. Oh wow. They charge with certain chakras. Oh wow! It's going a bit beyond the base stuff, but basically the whole space is charged, and everything about it, from the food you eat, the time you wake up, the different things that you can do there. I don't want to go into too much detail. There's a lot. There's something called a tirtha kund, where you take a dip in this cold water. Yeah. There's a mercury linga there as well, so that charges your body. Wow. So traditionally in India, when the yogi would take a dip, say in the river Ganga, for example, then he or she would do his practice. Same here, you take a dip in this kund, then you do your practice, and the whole environment is built for you to make it as conducive as possible for you to look inwards. Amazing. That's why it's great. So of course you can meditate here. Yes. You don't have to go to an ashram. Yeah. But if you want to take every advantage you can possible. Yeah. And to also be in an environment that actually goes ahead and pushes you towards the success of being able to look inwards. Because I guess here in the modern world, we are still logged into work. Yeah, we will still have the ping from Slack or anything else that we're using, and easily we can just snap out of it. Yeah. So there you can build a foundation, then you come back here, then you can manage your work, you can manage your spiritual practice, but you can take some time off. Yes. Whether it's a few weeks in the year or like I did an 8-month period. 8 months. You can do longer. Yeah. So some people live there. Some people are there 20 years. Yeah. There's someone who's in silence for 7 years and say a word for 7 years. Oh wow! And only recently started speaking. Oh wow! Would you go back? Yeah, I go back every few years. Oh, amazing! Like a top up. Yeah, right? Like you go there, you can spend a few weeks where you wake up early, you do lots of hours of yoga practice. Yeah. Whereas here you don't have as much time. Well, you have time, but you don't prioritize it. You wake up later. Your food is heavier. Yes. You have the Slack messages. You have work. Your friends that you're seeing. So I think it's great to take some time of the year just to build that foundation, and then you can go back to a more balanced. And when you went there, what exactly were you looking for? And did you find what you were looking for, or did you find something else? Yeah, I think I just wanted to scale up the practices. I see. Yeah. So in yoga, there are a few different types of practices. Something called hatha yoga, which is physical. So if I go like this, you see my body. Yeah. Can you assume something about my mental state? Yeah, closed off. Yeah. Well, if I put my hands on my shoulders, my hips, if I'm standing, akimbo, you can assume I'm ready for action. Yeah. If I go like this, you see what I'm interested in. If I go like this, bored, right? So would you agree that states of consciousness correlate to how your body holds itself? 100%. But the inverse can also be true. If I choose to do this consciously, over some time, my mental state might adjust. I might become more defensive, more closed. I see. I'm saying potentially. Yes. It's a question. Potentially. Yes. I mean, I do see that as well. Like even the way I'll notice myself if I'm talking to Ahana or I'm trying to tell her off, automatically sometimes my hands will go on my hips. And it's like my body reacts to... Being authoritative, whatever. Yeah, the environment that I'm creating, But the inverse could potentially be true. And if we assume the inverse is true, let's say that if I hold like this, my mental state would change. On the same science, there are yogic postures that come from. So if you hold different yogic postures, even the way you sit, will impact how your mental state is. This is why it's called an asana, it's called a posture, or yogasana. Yeah. So certain postures that have been identified, that if you hold these for a certain amount of time, your conscious state will raise. Wow. So I wanted to learn deeper which postures to do. This is called hatha yoga. There's something called pranayama, So anywhere in the world, if someone's angry, what's the first thing someone will say? Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Without any psychology training. So there's clearly a link between how your mental state is, your mental structure, and your breathing. But pranayama actually means, prana means energy, like chi in Chinese or ki in Japanese, and yama means mastery. So pranayama means mastery of energy, but usually you translate it as breathing techniques in English, because if you see pranayama, it will just be breathing techniques.
Yeah.
But the actual translation is mastery of energy. So just to quickly finish on that point, we can't directly impact our energy because we don't have that sensitivity.
Yeah.
By changing your breath, you're indirectly impacting your energy system. So that's why the breathing techniques are so important.
I see.
As well.
And what's a breathing technique that you apply on a day-to-day basis here?
So it'll be part of the daily practice. So part of the, I'm following the Isha yoga practice. There are millions of types of yoga out there. I'm not saying one is better than I can only speak for the ones that I do. So the ones that we do, it'll be part of the sequence you do in the morning.
Okay.
So like different alternate exhale, inhale, different nostrils.
Okay.
It gets quite complex.
Yeah.
But there's one that anyone can learn right now if they go onto YouTube, and maybe you can put it in the notes or something. It's called Nadi Shuddhi, Isha Yoga. And it's like a very simple breathing technique that you can do. If you do it for minimum 4 minutes, it will balance your mental state. You can do it before an interview. And it doesn't matter if you've got full stomach or empty stomach. Because some yoga practices, you have to be on an empty stomach.
Empty stomach, yeah.
So anyone can do that one. So I can share with you the link. And that's a quick one that anyone can just learn right now, wherever they are. And then if you ever feel like you need to do something like an interview or a presentation or a speech, you can just find somewhere quiet. As long as your right leg is in front of your left leg, and you can just do the breathing technique. And it's all explained in
that's
in the video.
amazing.
That's a quick one anyone can do. But if they want the more comprehensive practices, then they need to come to a program. And learn from a teacher.
I would love to do one of those programs. I was so intrigued by it. Obviously, I've got a nearly 3-year-old, so it makes it a little bit harder. There's one that I saw here in the UK. I don't know if you're the Vipassana spaces, and they do like 3-day ones. Obviously, if I was to go to India, that would be a longer one. So maybe when she's a bit older, but it's something that I'm so interested in doing.
So a lot of my friends before they came to Isha did Vipassana. Or some people that is their own path. Like they don't want to switch. So some people have done that first, and then they switch to Isha. Or some people they do that, and that's their path. I've met both, and I think it's a very well respected lineage. Because I discovered Sadhguru so young at 16. I didn't want to try any other practice. I don't want to mess with I don't want to mess with the software. I'm doing something here.
Of course.
But that's a really, really proven method that's lasted a long time.
Yeah.
The reason why I prefer Isha is because the master is still alive.
Yes.
Because the Vipassana master, he died, I don't know how many years ago he died.
Yeah.
So I like to have, for me it's really important that the guru is present. Because I think the master will adjust it based on the current population.
Yes.
Based on how much computer use do you have, what's your work life like, what's the current environment, what's the current pollution levels, what's the current food diet, what's the current media, and then the practice are going to be adjusting based on what we need right now.
Yes.
For example, let's say you read a text by a spiritual master from 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. He or she's offering practices relative to the population of that time.
Yeah. May not apply.
It might become a religion, and then it's a belief system. But the spiritual process at that time would have been subjective to the population.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
That's what I personally like.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to say do this or that.
Yeah,
that's
of
just
course,
why I like this
why
path.
you like it and why you took the path.
But
I think that's
many
amazing.
people do Vipassana, they love it.
Yeah,
and they swear by
I think it would be something really cool to try, and just to take myself into a space that allows me to focus inward. Because I think it is that exactly, and then just progress on from there. I'm going to India in December this year. I'm really excited. But yeah, I'm going to be visiting a few temples and stuff like that, so it'll be really cool. And I wanted to ask you, what's one lesson from Sadhguru that has genuinely changed the way that you experience life, even here now in the UK?
Yeah, I think there's a few. One is a story shared from the Buddha, where the Buddha was balanced. So even though physically, let's say the Buddha has a male body, energy-wise, the feminine masculine is balanced. Because feminine masculine is not the same as gender, male female. It's an energy, right? Yeah. So he's walking. This is the story, and he has a certain grace about his body language, to the way he's walking. And then these two, I'm guessing priests at the time, they saw him and said, "Oh, come, you should join us. We're praying to get to heaven." If you know the story, okay. He said, "Oh, you're praying to get to heaven. Interesting. What is this mantra to get to heaven?" And they said, "Oh, heaven is the most beautiful place ever. Everything's taken care of. You don't need to worry. There's food. There's no suffering. Everything's amazing. You should join us." He said, and he thought about it. He said, "Oh, maybe you should give me a mantra or a prayer to get to hell." And they said, "Why would you want that?" He said, "Well, at least there I can do some good." But the point of the story is that he has no need for external things to make him pleasant within himself.
Yes.
That he's got enough self-mastery that if he wants to have a pleasant experience, it's unrelated to those around him.
Yes.
Number two if you are pleasant, only then can you actually help other people.
Yeah.
If you're not fighting your mind all the time, you're fighting anxiety, depression, it's very hard to help others. Obviously you can, but it's that much more challenging, right?
Yeah.
So I love the story, really spoke to me about if you do the right work, your experience life can be beautiful no matter where you are. And secondly, because you feel so good, you're willing to go to hell to help others, because you're willing to jump into anything because your mental state can't be broken that easily.
Yeah.
So then you're willing to help others much more.
Yeah.
Once again, there are many people who are suffering and still help others.
Of course.
But the story really touched me, and I found it very empowering. And it made spirituality seem cool.
Yeah.
That I associate it with being powerful and empowering, rather than you're some hermit that goes away and you're weird and no one talks to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see how that supports it. You know, for the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, I speak to so many women on their journeys. I hear stories that are sometimes incredibly sad and incredibly heavy, and I know that I have to go away in the evening, even if that's 15 minutes reading, 15 minutes breath work, a little bit of movement. I go for a walk in the forest because that's the inner work that I know I have to do to make sure I can actually do the outer work. Yeah. So I completely agree.
Yeah. So that was a story I got. He told me that. He said that story, and that really stuck to me. And then the second one is just really getting into my head that I can't change the history, and all my energy focus on going forwards.
Yes. That
was something that I think has been really life-changing for me. That all I can do is make the next moment better.
Instead of living in the past. Yeah,
instead of just thinking, but just really accepting that I cannot change what's happened. Not even God can change this moment. This moment right now can't be changed. And by accepting that, somehow all my energy goes on what can I do to make the next moment better, rather than just why did I do that? Why did I do this?
Yeah.
That's something that really stuck with me.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And I think the equality of spirituality. Not everyone is beautiful. Not everyone is tall. Not everyone is strong. Not everyone has high IQ. Not everyone has high EQ. Not everyone has an amazing family that can fund them. Some people have terrible. Everyone's got different stuff. But what I really got from this, assuming your survival needs are met. If you're living in a war zone and you can't even eat, that's different. But assuming you're living with basic survival needs met, everyone has the equal opportunity to have a beautiful experience within themselves.
Yeah.
Externally, we're not all equal. I can't be a basketball player. I'm not 6'5". Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't have the funding from parents to start XYZ.
Yeah.
But I will do whatever I can in the external world to make the best of the life I can, and that's not equal. That's different.
Yeah.
But within myself, to have like the Buddha story, like I will go to hell. I don't care about heaven. Within yourself, I think what I really learned from spirituality is that everyone has the equal opportunity to have a beautiful experience within themselves.
Yeah.
Assuming survival needs are met. If you're living in a war zone, you can't even eat. You're barely able to survive. That's different. You need to match those basic needs. But once they're met, and to go beyond that, I think it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Equal chance for everyone.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And if someone listening to this right now feels absolutely lost, what is one thing that you would suggest for them to do tomorrow?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is that they should look at all the factors within their life that's happening right now. Are they using their phone too much? Are they going to sleep too late? What is their diet like? Are they going outside? Are they socializing? Are they just playing video games? There's probably a lot of things. Assuming we have to figure out, is it self-caused or is it external cause? Are they living in an abusive environment? There's not much they can do.
No.
Well, you go to the police.
No.
What can you do?
Yeah.
It's not but if you are self-causing the damage.
Yeah.
Well, there's three things. Either it's a chemical imbalance, then you need to have. Then it's an antidepressant. It's now in the realm of doctors. It's beyond my understanding. Or it's a criminal situation that they're living in a horrible. These are the two extremes, right? But we assume the most common one. I'm guessing the most common one is probably just self-induced, just being lazy, not eating well.
Yeah.
Certain bad habits that they're having, which stack up over time. So if you read Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Good decisions stack up, but bad decisions also stack up.
Bad also.
So if we take away the hard cases of it's an extreme chemical imbalance, or that it's an external person causing you this, then you need to find a way to safely escape.
Yeah.
We put those two aside. Yeah, I think they need to really look at what they're doing, and they need to figure out what can rather than what can they change, what can they remove.
Yes.
Just stop buying junk food.
Yeah.
Can you lock your phone? I think actually rather than people think too much on what can they add and do, I think people think far too little on what can they just remove.
What can they remove?
No sugar in the house. No, I mean it's extreme. No junk food in the house. Make sure you have time to go outside. Reducing your screen time. I mean, that would be the easy, quick wins. Will be on that reduction first.
You know what's so interesting is every time I have a phone call with someone and I say, hey, like, what's your lifestyle like right now? And they're saying, oh, my sleep is really bad. I'm waking up multiple times. I'm always in my head. I'm going through work and I feel like I'm constantly, in brain fog. And I'm like, okay, well, what time are you going to sleep? And I'm hearing like midnight or, 1 a.m. And then I'm like, oh, well, are you on your phone right before bed? Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'm scrolling right before bed. Well, put your phone away.
Exactly.
So you're right. Like, there's so many things that we can remove and stop doing. And just removing them not only creates more space for time with yourself in the present moment. Like, I was speaking to one of my clients and I said to her, hey, like, if putting your phone away earlier in the day means you get to spend more time with your husband, how amazing is that? So it's simple habits like those.
Another thing is, it might be too hard to remove things.
Yeah.
So a mini step is you replace.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't fall asleep before 12.
Yeah.
But replace doom scrolling with reading.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe you can't stop snacking. Replace junk food with fruits. There's so many things. You don't have to jump to cold turkey. You can always find healthier substitutes as well, and then eventually you'll get better. So I think that'll be my short term. Then longer term, I think, of course, you're going to the gym, eating well, having an internal practice, whether it's like Vipassana, whether it's in the Isha yoga system, whatever lineage speaks to you. You can go outside of India, Chinese, you have Qigong, Tai Chi, whatever. Maybe it's another spiritual practice, but I think some internal practice would be very, very important.
Yeah.
So as a short term, just quick wins, and then long term, start changing your life.
Yes.
I don't think you can start changing your life if you're barely able to function because you can't sleep.
No, exactly. And I think there's certain belief systems over time that we also end up having to let go of because of the conditioning that we end up having through life that we don't actually even realise.
Yeah.
For you, what was a belief system that you had to let go of?
Belief system.
Or multiple?
I think really acknowledging that anything outside of my experience is imaginary. And I think, because if I start believing, oh, I know how this universe works, I know this happens, I'm not going to wake up to do my meditation or yoga practice. Because why would I seek to understand how this system works, how this universe works? Why would I grind and strive if I believe I know how it all works?
Exactly.
So I think belief is one of the biggest blockers to seeking. And I think if you really want to be a spiritual seeker, I think the first step is admitting that you know nothing.
Yeah.
You really don't know, and you really don't know, and you really need to come to that conclusion. Maybe you want to sound intelligent at the dinner table with your friends. Maybe you have business that you have to help people, and you can, but within yourself you just admit, I actually don't know anything. Yeah. And I think it should plant such a strong seed of desire. You don't understand how a blade of grass works.
No.
You look at an ant, you don't understand how it works. You look at the stars, you don't know. You just, what the heck? Whereas if you walk, oh, I know this universe was created in 7 days. This happened. When I die, I go to hell. Then you know this happens. Your thoughts create your reality. I know how it all works. You're just gonna fall asleep happy, but actually you know nothing.
No, nothing.
And before you're on your deathbed, then you're thinking, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm panicking now. I don't know anything.
It's so true.
So I think that to me is the belief that the crux of everything. That I really don't know anything.
And you are forever a student.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. And I've always been such a curious person. I'll be like, well, why is this? Or why is that? Yeah. And it's nice. It's nice to now see, I think more and more people are asking these questions, which is way more than what it was like 15 years ago. So I love having these conversations.
That's what children are like, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, why? Why? And I love it. I'm like, why not? Like, you should ask all these questions, and I may not have all the answers, but let's go look for them together.
Exactly, yeah.
And, Jahan, you are half Polish, you're half Indian, and you also are intrigued about languages, and you've taught yourself a whole new language. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'm not fluent, just to be clear.
Okay.
Conversational. Chinese Mandarin takes a long time to learn. So I guess the reason why to learn a language, so there's the why overall reason and there's the why I reason. So I'll start with the overall reason, so it's more useful. I think it's like the atomic habits we mentioned earlier, but it gives you the language to talk about it. You can build things over time, small things stack up over time. So I felt that if I just do a little bit of language study every day, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, over 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, that's really going to stack up. The time, people even like you start maybe one Duolingo a day. Before you know it, you're doing online lessons, you're going to meetups, you're doing flashcards. My point is that I really believe that you can unlock a whole new form of experience if you speak more languages. So that's one thing that I think is really great, that people underestimate what's possible. So I think it's really good brain training to learn a language. Thirdly, I think it can open you up to bonding and connecting with people, whether it's other people who speak that language, with other people learning that language. And then also when you're traveling, you meet other tourists who are also from that particular language. Especially if you pick a language like Spanish or Chinese that many people speak. If you pick, say, Greek, it might not be as frequent, unless you're in love with Greek culture. Nothing against Greek language. I'm just saying that you, compared to Spanish or Chinese or English, statistically you're not going to meet people who speak language as much. Another thing is if you like a culture from the culture that matches that language. Let's say I really like the Kung Fu from China, the Shaolin monks,
Yeah.
some of the stories, the shows, the movies, then that makes it more fun as well.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of me personally, why I chose Mandarin, my friend was hosting me in Korea for 1 month, and I'd learned a bit of Korean before going there.
Mm-hmm.
And I started speaking Korean to the locals, and I thought, this is so fun. Like, what
Yeah.
a fun interaction, especially in a country where there aren't many people that might look like me, and many people and also the English level wasn't that good.
Yeah.
So one, it's fun because it's a shock for them.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Yeah. And two, it's more also because you're going to a country where the English is not that high. It's like in Poland, everyone speaks English. You can just use English.
It's similar in Mumbai.
Mumbai, right?
Yeah, everyone speaks
Oh yeah, India, of course.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
India, everyone speaks English.
So yeah, of course you can speak Marathi in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Or Hindi, and that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
You don't actually need to speak it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in somewhere like China, Korea, Japan, I think it elevates experience so much because
Yeah.
English levels. Still, if you went to India and you don't look like an Indian person, you speak Hindi, it'll be crazy. Right?
It'll be
be really fun.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that. But you can get by everywhere with English, which is my point. Anyway, I was in Korea and I really liked that experience. And I came back to the UK and I thought, oh, it's actually quite fun just to do a bit of language study every day. And I kept meeting people that are Korean speakers around London, and when I was in Korea it was fun. But I wasn't that interested in Korean K-pop or K-drama. Maybe in the future I would be, but at least at this point I'm not. I don't have a job in Korea. I don't have a Korean wife. I was like, why am I studying this? I don't really understand.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know who I'm going to marry. I don't know what my future clients or business will be. What language would I never regret learning? It'll be either Spanish or Chinese.
Yeah.
In my heart, I wanted to learn Japanese, but I felt Japanese didn't really fit the possibilities that Chinese or Spanish would fit.
Yeah,
Because these
got it.
languages, everywhere you go, you're going to have chances to use. You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I picked Mandarin, because I want to pick a language where I will never wake up and say, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And Chinese
Yeah.
Spanish would be good options.
Spanish
And
is
I
a good
chose Chinese.
Chinese, yeah.
Yes, that was my thinking.
So, since you've been learning Chinese, I know you've travelled as well.
Yeah.
What has that experience been? How has socialising been?
Yeah. So I'd say socializing has been, there's two aspects. There's three. There's socializing in the UK with Chinese speakers, the social and Chinese learners. There's socializing with Chinese speakers in other countries that are not Chinese speaking countries. Then there's socializing in countries where Chinese or Mandarin is the main language. So
Yeah.
there's three different areas. So say when you're actually in countries that use Chinese as their main language, then it's really fun, right? Because you can speak to the taxi drivers, you can make friends, people invite you out for lunch and dinner. You can actually sort out complex situations like, hey, I booked these 2 rooms, but I need this key, I need that, can you have a sun facing? You can discuss so much that, to be fair, you could do all this with Google Translate, but it's just much more fun.
It's fun.
And you actually build a connection with people, which I think you can still do with technology, modern technology, but it just allows you to, I think, access things and build connections that you might not build as much.
Of course.
And that for me, and my Chinese is only getting better. So even now, I would say it's still not good enough for that. When I'm traveling, I was in Thailand and Vietnam, and I had to help Thai staff talk to Chinese customers. I'm using English to talk to Thai staff, and I'm translating to the Chinese customers. So there were so many fun situations. Or a Chinese family took my seat by accident. I said, I'm really sorry, that's my seat in Chinese. Before I know it, I'm speaking to 10 people.
Oh, amazing.
And we're all just hanging out, talking, which wouldn't have happened if I just spoke English.
Yes.
So I think speaking another language, like I said, a language that's commonly used, widely used, or there's many tourists, you have many chances to build connections. Now that could have happened with Greek. I could have met a Greek tourist or a Finnish tourist or a Swedish tourist. But with Chinese, it's just much more likely, so that's why it's fun.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And then in England, I go to Chinese meetups. I made good friends who are either people who are learning Chinese, so they also say English, or people who speak Chinese as their first language. They want to make English-speaking friends, and I think that's opened up many friendships that I just wouldn't have had if there wasn't that language as a reason. So
that is wonderful.
yeah, it's been really fun, and just for brain training, it's just fun to have
Exactly.
something on the side to focus on.
Exactly.
Because I could be scrolling for an hour on Instagram instead of doing Chinese classes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? Hindi is my first language. So when if I want to say something in Hindi, it's just like in my head. I'm not thinking about it. Is that a similar experience to the way that you have taught yourself Chinese? Like, how does it work in your brain if you were to put it into words? Do you have to think before you say, oh, sorry, you've taken my seat? Or does it just...
I think with Vinya, so with Polish is like that. Polish is my second language.
Yeah.
Like whatever, maybe grammatically I'm not fully correct, but I can completely express myself in Polish.
Okay, yeah.
So it'd be like you in English.
Yeah.
I don't think twice.
Yeah, you don't think.
As in with Chinese or Mandarin, whatever I can say, I say fast. I don't have to think. But there'll be many things that I just don't know how to say yet.
Okay.
And I'll have to find a long way to explain it. I'll give you an example. The word quorum in English.
Quorum.
That means a minimum amount of people for you to go do something. So let's say your friends say, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? I'll say, if we have a quorum.
Yeah.
For me, that might be, unless 4 of us say yes, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
But I could just explain that word. Oh, if we have at least 4 people willing to go, then I will go.
Yeah.
Instead, I could say, do we have a quorum?
Do we have a quorum?
So in China, in Mandarin, same. Maybe I might say a very long way to express something. That might be one word.
To express that.
But overall, I can express a lot of my thoughts now.
Okay.
It might not be clean, but I don't think I'm thinking that long. I can express it quick. But there's still so much vocabulary I don't have.
Okay.
The problem with Mandarin is you don't get many free words. I'll give you an example. If you learn Japanese, if you want to say television, I could be wrong, but I think it's television. I think. I could be wrong, but let's pretend it is.
Yeah.
That's the same word in English.
Yeah.
I didn't have to learn a new word.
No.
Whereas in Mandarin, it would be 电视. It's a completely new word. Like, it's like, and that would be for 90% of the word, maybe more, 99% of the word is a new word.
It's a new word.
It's not a word that you get for free from English language.
Yeah,
you see
exactly.
What I mean?
I see exactly what you mean. Because even in Hindi, yes, there are certain words. Okay, let's go deeper in Sanskrit when you're talking Hindi. But there's not always that many free words either. Yeah. So like even when you're talking, it's like Hinglish. You know when you go to Mumbai, people are like speaking a little bit Hinglish. They're like Hindi and English mixed together.
Yeah.
I guess it's not the same.
I think Hindi is a different example because Indian speakers they just use English non-stop.
Yeah, they do.
They just use English.
It's like intertwined in the conversation.
If you're speaking pure Hindi, I think there still are some like pajama will be Indian word.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, I think the Indian example is a tough one because everyone's so fluent in English that it just blends in.
It just blends in.
But if you were to force yourself to speak pure Hindi, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Now, I have a few rapid fire questions before we go into closing questions, if you're ready for these.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you 2 words and then you just choose. Okay? So, karma or destiny?
Karma.
Okay. Silence or music?
Silence.
Mountains or ocean?
Ooh.
Rapid.
Ocean.
Meditation or movement?
Or meditation.
Meditation. Love it.
From silence, things movement.
Yes.
If you have meditation, then from silence the biggest sound can come.
Yeah.
From nothing, infinity can come.
Okay.
So I think the meditation has your baseline, and then you can like I was saying to you, if you have a certain peace within yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting is that for many people, peace is the goal.
Yeah.
I think peace should be your baseline state. Ecstasy should be the goal.
Yeah.
You should be blissed out. Whereas peace should be your baseline. Because unfortunately mental health is deteriorating, and I don't know why. I'm not educated enough into why. But it's deteriorating rapidly, right? Depression and anxiety, from what I understand, are going up. Either more people are admitting they have it, or it's going up. I'm not sure what is the case. This will be the realm of psychologists to explain. But let's just say it's going up, because this is the common theme that you hear. I think peace has now become a goal rather than a baseline state. But if it is a baseline state, I think you jump into activity, you jump into... There's always stories of Shiva sitting in... And Shiva's like the biggest representation of what yoga means. Is the Indian god calendar.
Yeah,
you see
sure.
the dread, obviously
yes,
but in case people watching don't know, he's got the dreadlocks, he has which is the leg, he has the cobra around his neck, blue skin, sitting cross-legged, the trident, usually represented as destruction. And it's very important for people in the spiritual path because you want to destroy your nonsense.
Yeah,
that's why the image of Shiva is so important in the yogic law. And in the story, he's considered as the first yogi. But the reason why I was bringing him up is that in the stories he's sitting in meditation for long periods of time. Then he'll be doing this dancing, just dancing, and then there's lots of... All the Indian gods always dance, right?
Yeah,
but they're always meditating as well.
Yeah.
So I think from stillness comes movement, is what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
and movement can lead to stillness, right?
Yeah.
You dance your heart out and then you're sitting still.
Exactly, and in terms of energy, like bliss is that emotion that we should all be trying to reach, which is that state of this really high vibrational, high frequency energy. And then peace, like you said, should be actually the basic that we're all experiencing on a day-to-day basis. But when you say that, depression and anxiety is so common, I notice that as well, even in the work that I do. And I do think it is down to loneliness and also just being consumed so much in building an experience and a life on a screen and through technology that we're forgetting to, like you said, the experience of being able to communicate and connect through understanding, even with your language or you learning Mandarin, so much more. And I think we're just lacking that connection.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's many aspects to it. I think that you're right. I think that is one.
That's one.
I think what's interesting is that our comfort levels have risen. I think the average person, not even earning money, not even working, let's say living in a British welfare system, doesn't have that much wealth. I would argue might live better than a king 1,000 years ago. You can have food like this.
Yeah.
You think a king could have food like this? You still have to cook it. The kitchen has to be ready. The staff have to make it. It could be rainy. There wasn't much game. The crops weren't well. The average person, like I said, assuming survival needs are met. We're living in a first world country. Someone who's doing their best to, hasn't financially achieved much yet. Maybe they will, but they haven't yet. They still arguably might have more comfort than a king would.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
But mental health hasn't matched the level of comfort that we as humanity have reached, which is a really interesting conversation. Why hasn't handling our survival needs, our comfort levels, not linked to mental health rising?
Yeah.
Why has it dropped, if anything?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a deep question.
To think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it should be the opposite.
It should be.
If all our survival needs are met, what if AI takes everyone's job?
Yeah.
What are you going to do then? You don't even have work anymore.
Exactly.
No one is working. You have more time to meditate.
Yeah, more time. Exactly. More time to maybe create as well.
Yeah. More time to create. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, I'm not judging someone who doesn't work. I'm just saying that even someone who hasn't got the earning potential to live a crazy life, go to Japan, go traveling, they still live better than many people, some very nobility or aristocracy of hundreds of years ago.
It's true.
But from a survival aspect.
Yeah. We have everything at our doorstep within a...
Microfood. Use your phone.
There we go. Order food. You want new, new lighting for your house? Quickly go order it. You've got it tomorrow.
And I think this is where in looking inwards is important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I have a few closing questions that I ask everyone. So, if everyone could adopt one daily habit from your life, what do you hope it would be?
I mean, I myself am not amazing at it, and I need to be better at it myself. But I think dedicating some time daily for internal practice, yoga, meditation, whatever it is for you. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it either. There's a Zen quote: "You should meditate 20 minutes a day, and if you're too busy, you should do 2 hours a day."
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact phrasing, but I think that's a reminder to myself, and if anyone else asks, dedicating a portion of their day for internal work will have reap so much benefit and dividends for the external world.
Yeah.
It seems so counterintuitive. Why would sitting with my eyes closed and breathing techniques and doing postures, whatever it is, whatever your internal practice is, why will that impact the world outside me? But people don't really realize if they change how they function within themselves, how their mind functions, their energy system, their vibration, whatever word you want to use, the whole world will react to you and open up to you in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think it's really worth it to do.
I agree.
The result, and you might take some time. You might need to. So the whole system goes something called a mandala in Sanskrit, which is a 48-day cycle. Okay. So you need to, anything that's subtle, anything that has a very subtle impact, that subtle, sort of sprinkling of grace. It's not like, I go to the gym and I feel it instantly. Something like this, it might take at least 48 days for your system to rebuild and restructure. So you need to give it the required time before you drop it. I do it for 2 weeks, 1 week. I feel the same, I'm going to drop it. You need to give it at least 48 days. Anything that's internal and subtle takes enough time for the system to adjust to it.
Yes.
Whereas if you do a heavy back day or leg day, you feel it straight away. This is so good. I love squats, blah blah blah. And I mean, I love training. I love gym as well. Just to be clear, but for something subtle, it needs much more time.
Yeah, I agree. Much more patience.
You can't just drop it.
No.
48 days at least, and then you decide, is this working for me or not?
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to take that on board because that's something I need to apply to myself. I set myself a goal in October last year that I'm going to paint a little bit every single day. And I love painting because it connects me to my inner child. I enjoy it. I find that I just really focus in on the painting. I don't think about anything else. And I gave up for a little while because I was like, I'm too busy. Now I've got to do this. Now I've got to do that. I have sat down to paint every single day and I've loved it.
That's cool.
And so now I just am going to do a little bit every single day. And you're right. If you're too busy, you do more of it.
Yeah.
It's so true. And finally, what does As We Heal mean to you?
I think becoming more aware and wiser. The more wounded you are, the wiser you should be. The more you've suffered, you have two options. You either become wounded or you become wise. Ironically, they both begin with W, I don't know why. But the more you've suffered, the more you actually can benefit other people. I know what you've gone through. I can become. You should become the wisest person in the room. So I think if you have a lot to heal from, actually it's a privilege because you can. The lotus flower is a symbolism for spirituality everywhere, not everywhere, but in many places. And the lotus grows in the worst filth.
Yes.
It doesn't grow in a nice garden somewhere.
No.
Because the more you've suffered, the more you've gone through, the more you understand of the world.
Yeah.
So actually, it's a privilege for those around you. if you've gone through a lot, because you can help others grow, you can help, and assuming you don't become wounded and miserable and a victim, and you become wise from your suffering, I think you healing is a great privilege for the rest of humanity around you, because you'll be like a lotus that blossoms.
Yeah.
And I think being aware, and clarity.
And clarity, yeah.
Seeing things clearly, not confidence.
No.
For example, let's say there's a bomb, let's say there's a minefield. You know, in World War II, they have mines. I can confidently walk through these mines.
Yeah.
Will I survive?
No.
Well, if I have a minesweeper and I can find the bomb, clarity is much more important than
Clarity is
confidence.
much more important. It's so
I can walk with my chest up and just die. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think clarity is another part of healing. Seeing things clearly for what they are.
Seeing things clearly, yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and doing the work. I think putting in the work.
Yeah. And also I think being patient with yourself, because I think when we set this goal for doing the work, we often want to see the rewards of it quite immediately.
Yeah.
And I think doing the work just means showing up. And that means showing up to any amount every single day, but just show up. Just show up though.
Yeah.
Because it's building the habit.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can stack good habits and you can stack bad habits. So I agree.
I've heard it rephrased like you set the bar low. You set the bar low enough that you know you will show up.
Yeah.
And ironically, you'll probably do more than you. Let's say, like an example you gave, your bar. As long as you do 5 minutes to come back, that you can check it off that you were in gym today. You don't feel guilty. You smashed it. But ironically, they'll probably end up doing an hour anyway.
Exactly.
But if they have in their head, all I have to do is 5 minutes. At least they'll show up.
At least they'll show up.
And and I think in Atomic Habits discuss it as you build the habit of you're someone that does something. Doesn't matter how much you do. Let's say gym example. Doesn't matter if you gym for 5 minutes or an hour. You're somebody that goes to the gym every day, or however many days in the week you decided, and that's what you focus on.
Yeah.
Rather than how intense the session is. Then later on you can focus on building the session up. Like you said, just show up.
Exactly.
I think setting the bar low. I think I think celebrating micro wins.
I agree.
7 days I was consistent. Like Duolingo does this, right?
Yes, yeah.
Like they
Well
gamify it.
Yeah, exactly. Give yourself, your teachers would have reminded you when we were in like reception or something, oh, give yourself a pat on the back. Physically do it. Why can't we still do it as adults? You know, you've gone for a 5-minute walk. Okay, you only had 5 minutes today, but you've gone for a 5-minute walk. Who cares? You've actually gotten up and gone out. You could have been sat here scrolling on your phone, but you didn't.
I also think it depends where you are. If you're like more further along the self-discipline journey, I think at some point you got to level up. So 5 minutes is
Yeah, of course.
So, but I think like you see, it depends who you're talking to.
I saw this amazing graphic online, which was a bunch of empty glasses, and all the glasses are filled with a different amount of water, but they all show consistency.
Exactly.
So
yes, I think it depends on who you're. I agree with you. If it's someone who's just kind of get out of bed, I think this is a right approach.
Yeah.
But someone who's been in the game for a while, they're going to gym, they're meditating, whatever it is, just language study, hustling. At some point, I think there is a point where you got to step up and level up.
Well, you've got to keep pushing the bar.
Exactly.
So once you know that 5 minutes is now a thing that you can just do, and it's just second nature, cool, let's do half an hour, let's build it up slowly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Which I think would naturally happen if they start doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much, Jahan. I have
me.
absolutely loved this, and I hope you all love this episode. I will leave the show notes below, and thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Thank you.